Hello, good evening, everybody. This is your boy, Pastor Santa Cameau.
Yo, what's up, y'all? This is Rickard, Jean-Noel. We welcome you all to the 4th season of The Real Word, man. How it feels to be in the 4th season, man?
It feels good. It feels good. It's an honor. It's a privilege.
Shout out to everybody that's been supporting the whole entire movement. Shout out to everybody that helped us to get this far. Shout out to everybody that donated. Shout out to everybody that's been supporting us since day one. We thank you since the GoFundMe days. We thank you since when we was in the basement, since we was in the library, since we was at Jeff's studios, and since we was at John's studios, to having our own studio, to having the company officially licensed by the state and the federal government, to have our own website now, guys. You know, that's www.therealwordministriesinc.org. That's the THE real REAL word WORD ministries MINISTRIESINC.org. There we go. And we still on the brick. Shout out to the brick. We still on the brick every Thursday at 12, at 4, and at 1 a.m. So every Thursday and every Wednesday you catch the reruns as well. We always on YouTube at The Real Word TV on YouTube, and we also on Instagram at The Real Word TV on Instagram. That's at The Real Word TV on Instagram, and on Facebook at The Real Word 7. What you got to ask, Sanders?
Well, Pastor Pierre, introduce yourself. Let the people know who you are and why you're here and everything.
Yes, I'm Pastor Pierre. I'm very grateful to be a guest, not only a guest, but one of the CEOs of this great company. So I really want to congratulate you guys and myself for bringing this company to where it is at this juncture, where it is right now.
God.
It's we want to express our gratitude to the Most High for everything He has done, because when we started this company and for the Real Word to become a ministry that is recognized by both the state and federal, we didn't even know which foot to put forward in order to get this far. But we did it prayerfully, and we thought of we put all our faith in the Most High, the God of Israel, and so He saw us through. And today we're here celebrating this great juncture. And so right now we have became a non-for-profit accredited by both the state and federal. So, and right now we're just waiting for the income that we've been waiting for in order to get up and running, to begin to move as a movement. It is not just a company, it is not just an organization, but it is a movement that is not here, a social movement, not only to educate people, but to also empower people, empower families, empower single mothers, empower young people, and to wake our people up so that they can understand where we are in this juncture right now and how we can move forward as a people. And so it's about empowerment, it's about education, it's about leverage, it's about helping our people to get ahead, to get forward, because we've been so marginalized for so long, and all the statistics are against us. So we can educate our people so that they can make better choices, and we can preserve our family lives, and so that we can become a great people. And I believe we can do that. God created us for that.
We're gonna do that,
and it's gonna happen. So therefore, we are counting on your prayers and your support, financially and prayerfully, and your word of advice. That everything is all welcome. So therefore, thank you all for what you have done so far.
Okay, so basically, I seen that you came in tonight. I wanted to basically ask you, what is it that that you wanted to present to the people for tonight?
Switch mics.
Is that me?
No, switch mics with the one on the floor.
Okay, okay, sorry about that.
So today,
yeah, go ahead.
Today we would like to talk about economic advancement for our people. Because if you understand our struggle as a people and where we came from when it comes to our history, is the fact that, at some point, contrary to what they have taught us in the schools, which they have lied to us in so many ways, and we have been miseducated in so many ways, so we don't know who we are. We are the only people on the face of this earth who don't have a history, who don't know who we are, We are so lost in the world. Everybody has a culture. Every other group has a culture. They have a history. They know where they came from. They know where they're going. They know why they're here on earth. And so therefore they come with a plan of action, and they're following the plan to get somewhere, and they're all going somewhere. We're the only people who have no plan of action, and we have nowhere we're going, because if you don't know who you are, if you don't know where you came from, you definitely will not know where you're going, and that is why the people are perishing. And the good book says that. It says my people are dying, and when he says my people, he's really talking about the people who are dying. Not everybody. Not everybody's dying because of lack of knowledge. You got to understand that. Let's take it for face value. Not everyone who is dying because of lack of knowledge. It's us who are dying because of lack of knowledge. So the Bible says my people are dying because of lack of knowledge. So now there's no excuse for ignorance, and because now knowledge is readily available everywhere. You open a textbook, you can research certain things, and now the prophecy,
Google too.
You Google it, and you'll be able to understand certain things, and you're gonna see great things. You're gonna hear great things in your ears. If you don't understand certain things, it's good to ask questions. It's good to Google it in order to verify it, because everything you have learned in the textbook has been wrong. So therefore, now one of the things that is wrong with us as a people is the fact that we don't have an economic base. We don't know where we're going. We've been so marginalized. All the statistics have been against us. But why? Why is because we don't know who we are. We don't know why we are here. And so therefore, they told us that our history started with slavery. And nothing is farther from the truth, because slavery has not been the beginning of our history. It's been something we went through, but it hasn't been the beginning. In the beginning, we were kings and queens. We owned lands. We ruled the world. If you have heard of the Dark Ages, it was the time when black people used to rule the world. And so because of who we are, and we have not stepped up to the leverage God created us, that is why we're here today. We were in slavery, and today we're still considered as slaves. Don't get that wrong now, because they have not told you that, but we are still slaves, even though we don't have we're not shackled in the feet in our wrists and feet, but we're still considered slaves. The reason why is because slavery has changed its course. So there was a time where you could see it. You could see the chain on your wrists and your arm, and you could see that, how you call that thing around your neck, that they used to put the charcoal on your neck. And so, and you used to see yourself on the plantation getting whipped to work hard and to harvest and pick cotton and tobaccos and all these other stuff. There was a time that used to happen, but now it's not happening that way anymore. It's happening in other forms. It's happening so well behind closed doors. Policies that's keeping you down for you to move ahead, you don't even realize it. That's why most of us don't even understand how deep slavery is in modern day. And a lot of us don't even believe that we're a slave. They don't even believe that we have so much policies against us from moving ahead. So that is why we think we are free. We are not. If we were free, then we wouldn't be getting killed by the police every day. If we were free, we'd be able to go and borrow money. If we go to a bank right now, you want to borrow $500,000 to start a business, they would have given it to you. Not only you need, even if you have a good credit or perfect credit, they will still deny you. Why? Because they don't want you to have an economic leverage in order for you to create an empire for you and your family. So therefore, you're going to have to grind other ways to get that money to be able to do it. But other groups, they don't have that problem. They don't need a credit. A lot of us don't even know that. Some groups don't even have credit. In fact, the government give them money for free. Not even lend them. Give them money for them to start a business. It's for them to own a land. So and so not only they have to lend us the money with high interest. When your credit is bad, so much high interest, you're paying 16% for money that they give to other groups for free. If you come from, for instance, Europe, you get money for free.
Same thing with the Lebanese people and the Arabic people that come to America.
I was just thinking
And
about
they
that.
got the bodegas. First, the bodegas used to be for the Spanish people. Now, I don't know what the Spanish people are doing now. Maybe open up restaurants now, but now all the Arabs have the bodegas now.
Absolutely.
And it's like cousins, brothers, and they do everything in shifts. Like, they'll do the bodega in shifts, like one work morning, one work afternoon, one work at night. And while one is working the bodega, the other one's doing Uber. They also sharing a cab. So it's like they doing Uber, they renting houses, and they doing stores, and they doing real estate all at the same time. And they just doing it in shifts. Because they don't mind all working together to achieve one goal.
Absolutely.
It's us that don't want to do it. Because I was reading an article about Chinatown, and then I picked up someone that was Chinese one time while doing Uber, and they were like, yo, and I was like, how do Chinese people know where to go when they come to America? He said, they're not friends, they just call. I said, what do you mean? He said, they just call, and when they call, they come, and they say, okay, this Chinatown, we all work together. And then he was like, a Chinese person will not rent or sell their house to someone other than Chinese. If you go on Craigslist and then a Chinese person want to rent their house, they'll write the ad in Chinese just so a Chinese person could get their house.
Wow.
Like, that's how they moving. Like, there's like 10 of us, but we moving as one. It's like, okay, we all know the deal. Same thing with the Jews, they all moving as one. Same thing with the Italians, they all moving as one. They come from all the way from Sicily to America. They set up little Italies everywhere. They do their thing. All the bosses of every place come, they sit down like men around the table, they eat food, and they plot out how they're gonna run this money called America. But we as black men, we're not sitting down at tables together plotting who gets what piece of the pie. We're not doing that. Instead, we plotting on each other to try to take each other out. You know, it's like we trying to get money to look better than the next black man when there's people that's been holding us down that we don't even think about as the enemy.
Absolutely. So that's a very significant. You wanted to say something?
I wanted to basically ask, off topic, basically, I know that you gave me a card. I don't know if you wanted to promote your business, right? As well, too, right?
We will do that.
Okay,
Let's
no
finish
problem.
that at the end.
No problem.
Yes, be more than happy to do that.
Yeah.
I don't want to forget my thought.
Yeah.
Yes, you said something very significant. You talk about the unity among those groups, which as people of color, we don't have.
Wow.
Because one of the reasons why it's not like it was always like that. As I said before slavery, we weren't like that. One is part of what you call, is part of our punishment from the Most High, for us not to come together, in order for us not to create something. And also, what was used is our enemies, those who incarcerated us and who use us as slaves. And one of the first things they did, they make sure they divide to conquer. And so they put that venom of fear in you, and also where I fear my brother because I think he always has something behind his head to take me down. And so one of the best way they do that is by hiring one of them to become the manager of the rest on the plantation. So now one of us who become the manager who's watching over the other, he is even harsher than the slave master himself. So because of that now, I look at him as a sellout because we both are in the same boat. We both on the plantation. We should be looking out for one another. So now because he got a little promotion, now he forgot where he came from. He forgot we're all brothers. And so the first thing they did is to make us believe that we are each other's enemies. And the reason why is because if we're each other's enemies, we are divided, we can never come together and to create a plan of action and to move forward in order to get our freedom. And so therefore, and that kept us on the plantation for some, I would say about 5 to 6 generations on the plantation. So that created a big thing. So even now, after some 200 years for people of Haiti, over 200 years.
They said that the curse is broken this year, though.
Absolutely, this year it's broken. That's the reason why you see more of because the reason why it's broken is because just like Egypt, We were slave for 400 years, and right here today in America, we are slave. Not just in America, but all over where you see black people, they've been slave for 400 years.
I'll tell you, how was the curse broken?
Well,
because of the 400 year expiration. Because
for us,
yes, for us. So that's the reason why you see more of black people are being conscious of who they are now. That's
like
you
a
see.
curse.
Yes, it's a curse for us never to come together. That's the reason why you see that instead of us coming together as a group, we have a spirit of competition.
Yeah.
Want to compete against the next person.
Yeah.
I want to have the best house. Instead of me coming together, I have some money, he has some money, he has some money. Instead of putting our money together to incorporate and to say let us buy some real estate together. And let us move together, and let us share, let us put our money together and create something. Because you know that when you put resources together, you can do more than what one person can do with what he has. If I have 100,000, he has 100,000, he has 100,000, that's 300,000. We can open a big store with that. And from that, we can open other chains. Before you know it, we can have different, in 10, 15 years, we can have 20, 30 chains of stores because we started by incorporating, putting our money together. But one thing we never had is that. But now you see there's a more greater consciousness. You hear young people talking about coming together. We don't look at each other as enemies anymore. We look at each other as partners, as brothers. We have to look out for one another. So it's because the curse has been broken. But nobody told you that. You have not learned that. You have been miseducated.
And the Bible verse that refers to this curse is found in Deuteronomy chapter 20. For those that don't know, the Kabbalah also speaks on this. It says, when you go to war against your enemies and see horses and chariots and an army greater than yours, do not be afraid of them, because the Lord your God who brought you up out of Egypt will be with you. When you are about to go into battle, the priest shall come forward and address the army. He shall say, Hear Israel, today you are going into battle against your enemies. Do not be faint-hearted or afraid. Do not panic or be terrified by them. For the Lord your God is the one who goes with you to fight for you against your enemies to give you victory. Before, it's like what my brother Pastor Pierre was saying. He was saying about the dark ages.
Wow.
It said that the first shall be last and the last shall be first. We was first and now we're last. So now that the 400, it was saying that you'll give birth to kids and you won't raise them. You'll plant gardens that you won't be able to eat. It was saying that like people will sleep with your husband and people will sleep with your wives. It all goes back to, because you have not kept my covenant, because you have sinned against me, you'll be placed back into bondage. Yes, we go back into Egypt, but this time you'll be placed on ships and sent to a foreign land, and no one shall come and set you free. And that's what happened to us. And then we came here. We was planting fields of cotton and all these other things, and we never reaped the benefits of it.
Never reaped the
That's
benefits.
200 years of free labor.
That's real.
For a whole country. Of course, somebody gonna get rich off of that.
Of course.
You know, someone's gonna
So,
get rich.
in other words, these people have an economic leverage. They have an economic boost, but we never did. And so when we came out of slavery, when we were let go from the plantation, and so we were just left on the street. So now some of us had wives and children, and now you need to find a place to sleep. And now they just unleash you from the plantation. Now you have no money. How are you gonna get a room to sleep, to house your? How are you gonna take care of your children? How are you gonna pay your bills? So there's real stuff out there, but you need money in order to do that. How are you gonna start a business because you have no money? But all these other people have great money. You know, the white folks have plenty of money because we've been working for free for 200 years, and in the process we have invented so much stuff, which because we're a slave, our slave masters, they're the one who took advantage of those things that we have created, and we have created, and now they went and patent it and get credit for that, and they are getting money out of that, and we had nothing.
Wow. Do you know how rich these people are? Mm-hmm. If you go on Zillow.com, the website that shows the houses, put in like no limit. Where it asks for house, put no limit, and then go everywhere. Check Queens, Brooklyn, Bronx, Manhattan, Upstate, Westchester, Jersey, everywhere, you're gonna see these big houses. These houses is like the driveway to come in the house is like 2 miles away, and the house is all the way in the back, so you can never see it. It's like a big castle, like they be bigger than the White House, fancy. Inside of like palaces, and these are stuff in like every borough in Brooklyn and Bronx, everywhere. And then you look at the prices of the house, they like 12 million, 15 million, $89 million houses in Manhattan, 90 million, 100 million. And I'm thinking, if you buy $100 million house, that means you have to have at least $1 billion, because you're not gonna spend all your money. You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely, yes.
So this is how rich these people are, bro.
Yes,
and this is not like me lying or me making this up. This is
reality.
This is crazy.
Yeah,
but I think to myself, like, how did they make this much money? Like, it be houses that go into a lake with boats parked outside.
Absolutely.
And then you see gold and.
How about that house that you always said that you always see by the highway?
Yeah, I think that house was like a $25 million house in Brooklyn, like right there in Mill Basin. And what ended up happening was the house was so expensive and so big that no one could afford it, that they had to split it in half, because the house came with a guest house, and the guest house was a 4-bedroom mansion.
Yeah, wow.
That's how big the house was.
Wow.
And the guest house is for sale now for $8 million, I think.
One thing people can never understand, if you understand that, you'll understand why the role that Christianity has played in order to keep us where we are today, is because now these are the same people who are supposed to be Christians, who came from Europe and now decided to use us. Not only when they came here, where they found us here. So when you talk about the indigenous people, or when you talk about the Native Americans, they were black people, not the so-called Indians. The so-called Indians, they were there somewhere.
They were in India.
In India,
Exactly.
Absolutely. So it was
India.
us, and the Bible said that. The Bible says when we became cursed, one of the first thing God did, He chased us out of our mainland. So some of us came already by foot. It's right here in the Bible. We came here by foot. It took us a whole year to walk to get to the Americas. So when Columbus actually came, he found people who were already living here, and there were already civilization here. Exactly. There was knowledge.
They had pyramids,
everything,
mummies,
right here.
Same thing they had in Africa.
Everything going on right here in America. Very sophisticated stuff was going on here by black folks. So now they came, we welcomed them. We welcomed them into our home. We teach them how to hunt. And then they came around, they found ways, because of the fact that we were cursed by the Most High. We're all powerful people, but the Most High kind of like restrain our power for our enemies to overcome us, just like they did when we were in Egypt. Just like the Babylonian did, they came and took all our people. That's how Daniel and Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego wind up over there. And if you remember, the same thing they did to the 3 young Hebrews, the same thing they did to us. The first thing they did, they changed their names. Because when somebody change your name and change your culture, so it's a beginning to erase your history. So and give you a brand new identity. How somebody gives you you change your name, change your language, you become a whole new person. So you forgot who you are. But these young Hebrews, they decided among the other people to keep their cultures. They decided never, even when they changed their names, they never bow down before the.
But just look at it this way: Spanish is from Spain. That's Spain's language. But look how much people on this side of the earth that speak Spanish. English is from England, you know?
Yeah.
And look at how much of us speak English now.
Absolutely.
And now America's running the whole world with the dollar, and selling everything in dollar, and forcing everybody to speak English and buy in dollar. That's where the world is at right
Yes, you said something good. Now, I want to expound on that. You said America is running the world. So now, where did America got his power from? America got his power from
the Vatican.
From the Vatican, absolutely. Because if you remember, since during the time of Jesus Christ, whose real name is Yahushua, also they changed his name to Jesus, to Jesus. You understand what I'm saying? And also changed his image. He was a black man, darker than me and even my brother here, but they made him a white person.
That's real tough.
You understand what I'm saying? So he was real dark. but yet they make him white in order for you to understand the people who subjugate
Well, then
you.
black people will be like, oh, it don't matter.
It don't matter.
Yeah,
That's
but-
the
but-
craziest thing. That's the
But you know that, the
because that's
papacy has-
because of lack of because of ignorance. That's why somebody will tell you it doesn't matter. Somebody was black and they made him white, and you're talking about it doesn't matter.
But I don't know if you know, like even with the archives, if you watch it in colors, they show you basically documents of basically how the mother of Jesus was a black woman, how Jesus is a black man and everything like that. There's documents of that.
But
So
you don't understand. The primitive people in this world, they're all black.
Yeah.
There's nothing white in this world. White folks came after for one reason is to subjugate the world into slavery. Us. Not when he said the world is us, nobody else. Because the world was always us and the world is still us.
That's right.
And that was the main purpose. We had a purpose. Everyone has a purpose. In the world, everything has a purpose.
But
The
because
President of the United States has two purposes for being there. He has a purpose to do something for domestic and also to do something international. So we had a purpose. Our purpose is to represent God before the heathens. So instead of us representing God before the heathens, we become worse than the heathens. We became to intermarry the heathens. We began to mingle with them and indulge in their culture and their false god. We begin worship their false god. Say we forgot who we are, and that is why we're cursed. But their goal was to come here and conquer the world and divide and conquer. That's exactly what they did. So what they did is exactly why they were created, and that's what God wanted them to do. Just like He wanted Egypt to do that the first time so that we can learn something, but we didn't learn anything.
sometimes you gotta spank your kids to show
You gotta spank your kids. That's exactly, because I have kids. When they do something wrong, I give them a little punishment to make them understand that is not happy with what you did, so that you can get your acts together. But some kids, they take longer for them to learn. You gotta punish them over and over again. So that's why we were in Egypt. That's why we were enslaved by the Assyrians. Remember Nineveh during the time of what's his name? Jonah. You remember God told them to go speak to Nineveh, and they didn't go. He didn't want to go because of the fact that these people have subjugated them into slavery and took everything from their land. So they didn't.
Which was reasonable though, which was reasonable in regards to.
I understand why.
Mindset, but God's wisdom,
yes,
is
absolutely
further than your own insight.
Yeah, God told them, look, you have to go and represent me in Nineveh. He said, no, I'm not going. These people have done so much to me, and that is why we wind up in Babylon, in slavery, because we have not learned. And that is why today, again, present day, we're still slaves. We're still where we are today. We've been on the boat, we've been on the ship, and it's all in the Bible. So, but that's the role that Christianity had played. So that's the reason why we don't know who we are. We never discuss these things, and they're in the Bible. And there's a lot of great things that God has in store for His people.
Wow.
How He's going to deliver us. We never talked about it.
That's true.
Why do you think they don't talk about the real things in church?
That's a good question. One is because the Christianity was given to us by the same people who subjugate us from slavery, and so they actually this was something that was strategically. It was a great instrument that was not like not teach you the right thing, but to keep you motivated. So what a lot of pastors do, they motivate their people, but they're not teaching them. And the Bible's supposed to, religion's supposed to be to teach people. And that is why when you look at the Bible, there is no such thing as religion. It was God created a people. And that was who they are, and that was their identity, that was their citizenship. They were Israel, and God called them, these are my people, and I will be your ruler. I will tell you how to do things. You're going to be my people, and I'm going to be your God. And because we broke that covenant, we begin to intermarry other nations. We begin to do things that was the
testament was inside of the Lord.
Absolutely. And so that is why, and Jesus came for the New Testament. But what a lot of religion tells you is the fact that whatever happened in the past, were abolished. Nothing was abolished. Nothing was abolished.
What I was going to say is the doctrine of the scary basically was a doctrine signed by the Vatican, signed by the Pope, that allowed Christopher Columbus and other explorers to go into foreign lands And basically, when they got off the plane, I said get off the plane. When they got off the boat, they would read the Doctrine of Discovery, saying that they discovered this land in the name of the Queen and God. And if there's anyone here who object, please say so now. And most of the times, the native people did not speak their language, obviously, if some foreign people coming, so they don't understand what you're saying.
Absolutely.
But they had a notary with them, so once they read it, and no one, like, said no or declined in their discovery, and then once they notarized it, it became legal, and then that's how they went and they stole land. That same doctrine went before the Supreme Court, because it was an Indian guy, and it was a Native American person, I don't want to say Indian, a Native American and a Caucasian guy, and they were both fighting over the same plot of land. The Native American said that this was my land that was passed down from generation to generation, this is my land. The other guy said, no, this is my land, I bought it fair and square, this and that. So they went before a judge, they went before the Supreme Court. One of the Supreme Court judges had land that he stole from the Indians under the same doctrine. So if he went against that, if he went on the Native American guy's side, he would lose his land, even though voting for the Native American would be the right thing to do. But since he wanted to keep his land that they stole from the Native Americans, he shot down the Native American guy's claim to the land. So he made the Native American guy lose his land.
That's true. That's true.
His land.
Wow.
Yeah, you said something that was very good. I want to expound on. You said something about the Pope actually signed a decree for Christopher Columbus to go into the world and to conquer those lands, and now he did it in the name of the Pope, Spain, the Pope, and also the Queen of England. So that's where we get our allegiance from. So when you see young
kids, you mean he got his approval from Queen Isabella? Spain.
Yeah, Spain.
And also the Pope.
Yeah.
And so now when we say that because the Pope is the one who signed it.
Yeah, facts.
And so when we say we pledge our allegiance to the flag and to the Republic, and the Republic is these people, they're the one who run the world. Because don't forget that since during the time of Jesus Christ, the Romans were the one who run the world, and they're still running the world. If you remember the
Romans are the Catholics.
They're the Catholics. If you remember the statue of King Nebuchadnezzar that he saw, that he didn't understand what that meant, and he asked Daniel was able to give him the interpretation.
Oh, that's right.
Daniel told him, "Look, I have a God. I don't know what it is. I can contact him. If I contact my God, he will be able. The God of Israel, he will tell me exactly what that means." So he told him what the statue mean and the different parts of the statue, which the part before last would be the Roman Empire. And so after the Roman Empire were the toes, which were made which was made of clay, and after that would be the empire of Jesus Christ.
Wow.
That would come and take over the world, which hasn't happened yet, and which we don't talk about in Christianity, because Jesus will come and take over the world just like the Romans are ruling the world. Since then, the Romans have been ruling the world. So everything you see, all the laws that's taking place, everything policy.
It's a Greco-Roman society.
Absolutely. Every policy you see the Congress comes with or the president comes with, it's all been dictated.
But just look at the buildings. The same buildings that's in Washington were the same buildings that were in Rome. The same way with the long pillars that go up with the flat top.
Wow. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And they got buildings that was in Africa, like the Oculus, the tall tower thing that's pointy at the top. They have that all through Washington too.
So just like the Rome is the one that's conquering the world today, the next in this world, as we speak, as I'm speaking to you right now, the next person that will take over this world is Jesus Christ, as it is right now. But that's not what Christianity tells us. Just as it is, it's in the Bible. Jesus will come and take over the land, and he will sit on the throne of David. Isn't that what the angel revealed to Mary? Says, you will have a son.
Wow.
And he will sit on the throne of David.
Do you know what's crazy? One of the first slave ships that was blessed by the Pope was called Jesus.
Absolutely. So that will happen. And when that happened, the Bible says that Jesus will gather his people, that the one he came for. And so when they tell you, now it's about the spiritual Israel is no longer. No, there's the real Israel, which you've been miseducated, and we don't know who that is. And so therefore, and that's all we've been learning. And I'm myself as a theologian. When I go there, when I go to theology school, the people who teach me, who taught me theology, they don't look like me. So of course, they're not going to tell me what God wants me to know that is in the Bible. And so when we read the Bible and we see these things, it doesn't mean much to us because, first of all, because we had a spirit of dumbness that God gave us, so that we will not understand what's in there, so that we can continue to be slave. And then, so now, but He did say in the last days that He will bestow His Spirit upon His people.
That's true.
That young people will have
prophesy.
They will prophesy. They will even the old people will have dreams, and knowledge will increase. When the prophet Joel said knowledge will increase, he's not talking about feeble knowledge of this world. He's not talking about the fairy tales. He's talking about real stuff, real knowledge. So before, they've been telling us that if you have cancer, you have to take, for instance, chemotherapy. But today we know that chemotherapy is poison. Your body is natural. Chemotherapy will never heal you. It will kill you slowly. So there are natural things that can work against cancer.
That's right.
So now we have those real knowledge, not crazy stuff that we learn in the textbook that's making people rich. But real stuff that God is telling you that what will heal you is a natural thing, not the pills they've been giving you. The pills is just to give you a little relief. It's called palliative care that gives you a little relief so that you can be dependent upon it, so that it can continue to suck you dry of your money and your resources.
Speaking of the whole situation where there's a great awakening amongst our people, you guys seen recently where that black billionaire paid off the whole student loan debt?
I think that was amazing.
Can you imagine?
That was beautiful.
And I know when I saw that, I'm like, man, prophet, the Bible is really true, because we are selfish by nature. We were not always that way, but since we've been subjugated to slavery, that's one of our curses. It's for us to think of ourselves. We're so bad that even I'm married, I think of myself. I don't think of my wife. I don't think of my children. That's how we were. But now we begin to think of my brother.
Debt free.
And so for a billionaire to say, look, I'm going to spend $40 million to wipe away the credits, the student loans of these people.
For the students who graduate, that's beautiful.
That is beautiful. I mean,
and we have those in our denomination.
I've never done anything like that, and I don't think he will never do it. So when you see things like that's great stuff. That is great stuff. When you see a black man decide he's gonna bless another black people, that is telling you something is changing.
That's what a boss does.
Yeah.
That is something is changing.
Because there's guys who have in our denomination, they will not put not even like $1.
Absolutely, something is changing. I mean, we don't even
see
know
somebody agreed to that part when I said that part.
How to give somebody food. People go to church. They leave church because they're hungry. Nobody want to feed them in church.
Not at all, and they got money.
Yeah, I know people who go to church. I don't go to church anymore because somebody dissed me in the cafeteria for food because I was hungry. I need to take my pills.
That's a fact.
This is a lot.
They dissed me and told me you got to go outside and buy food because we're not ready to serve food yet. So now for somebody to say I'm gonna wipe away
that's real.
That's
what a boss does. That's what a king does.
40 million's worth.
Yes,
this is great stuff.
That's great stuff.
You we are changing. We are beginning to think of each other. We are beginning to let that selfishness go.
Yep.
To begin to think in terms of cooperatively. To think of my brother. To think of my sister. To think of my family. And that's who we are by nature, because we are the children of God. We are the best thing that is close to God's heart. So therefore, we're beginning to become the people God wants us to be.
Yeah.
And we got a lot of comments. Shout out to
everybody saying it's true.
Yeah. Shout out to Marcia Lewis. She's been with us since day one. Shout out to Marcia Lewis.
Yep.
Shout out to Josie Alexander on the check-in. Shout out to She Love Laguerre. She was showing love. Shout out to Terry Xavier. Shout out to you, Terry. Shout out to Stephanie Doily. Shout out to you, Stephen Doily. Sorry. Shout out to Michael Flats. Shout out to Charlene Millen, Fredo Etienne, Katrina Thomas, Hope Gibbons. And shout out to my godfather, Jean-Noel. What's up, man? All the way from Haiti. So shout out to everybody on the check-in.
That's what's up.
Thank you for watching.
We appreciate that. Thank you for watching. So we'll get back to our original thing. So now we begin to understand that the reason why we've been so stripped of our ability to create wealth and to make money is because we've been cursed and a lot of abilities were taken away from us. And so our enemies who took us from our homeland where we were kings and queens and so subjugated us into slavery and took everything, even all of our knowledge, what we have patented. And God, we were naturally born with knowledge. And still today, we just, on every level of endeavors, we can always outdo anybody or
That's true.
Anybody.
Because our bodies are made differently.
we are made differently.
Our minds are made differently.
Our mind made differently.
Even our peanut gland too.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
we're different people. The things is, we were so much wonderfully created. Even our organs are
different,
more potent and different than everybody else.
Yeah.
That's the reason why body parts, what you call
human trafficking is a very big thing too.
Humans trafficking, harvesting
Yeah.
body parts
Yeah.
is a big thing.
Yeah.
Because now, if a millionaire needs a heart, guess what? He needs a heart of a black person.
Definitely. You know
because
what?
he know that's
You know what's so
potent.
crazy?
You know that's yes sir.
So to add what you're saying, during the time of the earthquake,
Mhm.
there was a lot of harvest and organ trafficking going on.
Absolutely.
What,
Yeah.
in Haiti?
Yeah.
Yeah, they told you a lot of these people that
Yeah.
died, even young kids that they took from their parents that disappeared. There are kids who disappeared. Their parents never seen them. They think that they died in the earthquake, but they were taken away for harvest. Some
Yeah.
of them are in China. Some of them everywhere in the world.
That's true.
Because that body part is it's big money.
It's right too.
Big money.
And
It's
robust.
millions of dollars worth of industry.
That's why I
when it
tell
comes to black.
that's why I
body
tell young
parts.
black people, when you if you say you're gonna pass away, don't basically say that you're gonna give your body parts away, because the thing is that they the powers that be, they could set up a murder or they set up an accident, you know what I'm saying, just to get your body parts. And there's been many
Absolutely.
cases like that.
Just like
Yeah,
the
so-
Rockefeller guy, he stayed alive all those years by getting you body parts all the time.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So you should not put on your driver's license that you want to give your body parts away, because once you do that, one of the things that's going to be required is for you to put your blood type,
Yeah.
and that will set you up, because people will know your blood type. So if somebody who owns who owns $50 million, needs a body part, you're gonna be next. They're gonna make sure they go after you. So therefore, that's big business. So now, because we understand what's going on, and then our sanction has been lifted up by the Most High. So what's happening now? We're having a more consciousness. Now we're able to come together to create an economic base for ourselves. We're able to put our resources together, because before we were trained not to trust one another. That's the reason why you see, your brother would just decide not to deal with you or dislike you or just for no reason. Because especially if you look like you're making it, you're doing something, you're going to school, you're getting a degree, you're investing your money, you're doing well, you bought a nice home, you're driving a nice car, you're doing well for yourself. Instead of the person celebrate you, the person will just hate up on you.
How do you feel about the support we're getting for what we're doing from our community? How do you feel about that?
Well, I feel great about it, because we're young people, as you said once in one of your posts, that we are young people coming straight from Haiti, grew up in this country, because we understand that even though we're still slaves, but there's little opportunity, not big, but we're able to grind and take advantage of those opportunities, go to school, educate ourselves and do something, come together, trust one another, pray and believe in the Most High and do what we're doing, and people see the positiveness. And because now the Most High is changing our hearts, we begin to celebrate one another instead of hating and destroying one another. And this is the result of what we are seeing now, is because there's so much hatred, even among Christians. A lot of times it's better to deal with people on the street than dealing with Christians, because the reason why is because of who created Christianity, who gave you Christianity. It has nothing to do with the Bible or nothing to do with God.
Shout out to Eric, Hervé Jean Baptiste, man. He said great stuff, guys. Yo, shout out to Eric, man. You've been here since day one supporting you. I swear, man, if you're not on every single episode, you close to at least half. So you always supporting, always
Massachusetts,
commenting, always watching, man, and hopefully one day we link up in person and we do business, man. Shout to your whole situation that you got on.
He's always mentoring.
Shout to Masuka, she was on the show the other day. And shout to everybody that's doing their thing, man. Shout to everybody that supported us. You know, we started in the basement, and through the glory of God and the many blessings He's bestowed upon us, we have gotten this far. So, shout to God, man.
Definitely. Cause you know we're about to close. Tell people about what you're doing right now, Pastor Pierre.
Well, I do so much. One of the first, where my heart is really family life. You know, I love seeing black people coming together as families, and so we've been marginalized for so long, and we know that all statistics have been against us. We know that the war on drugs that started in the 80s.
That was by design.
By design, yes, to destroy us. They came and put drugs in our neighborhood, and then now they restrict us from getting good jobs, and then so therefore we have no choice because we have children and families but to take care of them. So some of us either have to take the drug to help us with our issues because we can't take care, we're not relevant to our wives and children, we can't take care of them because we don't have no good jobs, or we can sell the drugs to deal with our people, to take care of our business. So we wind up, either way, we're going to wind up with the drugs in our hands. And so because of that, millions of black men were taken away from their neighborhood, from their families. And because of that, we had a great deficiency, a great level of absenteeism of black fathers in the homes. So because of that, in the black community, 70% are without fathers today. And so therefore we want to be able to change that. The way we change that is by having groups to teach black men how to be men, how to be respectful, how to learn how to keep when you find yourself a beautiful black queen, you have to take care of her. You have to be you have to be faithful to her. You have to be there for your children. You know, don't stay away from things that's gonna cause you to go to jail so that you won't be there for your children, because you have too many young people who grew up without their father, and you want to be able to reduce that. So one of the things I do, I like to do seminars in churches and in everywhere, to do seminars to teach. So I have an organization that's part of this greater organization that we have a real word. What we do, we educate young black men how to be a father, a husband, and a great professional. We teach our young black women. We teach them the ABCs of marriage and family life, so that they can have strong, healthy families. That's what we need in our community. We need strong, healthy families like the Huxtables. That even though he was the father of America, that they destroyed, not because of his weakness, but it's because of who he represented. Never forget that. Who he represented as the father of America. Him and his wife, they're both professional. They had great children. They were growing. They were raising. They showed you right there in the 80s that black people, in the 90s, black people can still be professional and raise wonderful children away from drugs, from a prison, and that is what we need in our community. We need more of that. We need more men who understand their purpose. When God bless you with a queen and children, this is the greatest gift that God can bestow upon a black man, to give you a woman and children for you to be the high priest and the leader of. So it's not the time for you to go around, to keep on going around looking for bootylicious when you already have a beautiful queen at home. It's for you to pledge your allegiance to that woman and to that family, to be the high priest and to be the leader. That's right. And one of the things we do, I have a company that does home design, in terms of home improvement. Whether you want to do your pavement outside, you want to do a bathroom and this and that. Amazing. So I have a group of amazing, talented guys.
Definitely gonna have closing thoughts. I'll go first. I want to thank everybody for watching tonight. This episode has truly been a blessing. We also want to thank Eric, Hervé, Jean-Baptiste. You said that every episode is good. That's why you don't miss any. I know that you guys are blessed. We have a lot of surprises and goodies coming up. So we're looking forward to seeing each and every one of you.
Yes, sir. So I want to thank you all for watching, for being here for us, and for praying for us, for celebrating us, because I'm all about celebrating my people. Because for so long we looked at each other as enemies, but today we have to learn that we are in the struggle together. We are not each other's enemies. And we are not there to compete with one another, but we are there to come together to celebrate one another. So in that thought, my brother, I celebrate you.
I celebrate you, King.
And my man, I celebrate you.
Celebrate you,
So I appreciate the fact that we came together to create something great.
Beautiful.
And by the grace of the Most High, we're going to build an empire.
Yes.
We're gonna be able to take care of our people. We're gonna be able to uplift single mothers. We're gonna be able to build wonderful black families and helping them to be the king and the queen that they once were before we're subjugated into slavery. Now it's coming to an end. It's time for us to go out and conquer the world and take dominions in the name of the Most High. And the good Lord bless you all. It's good to be with you all today, gentlemen.
Yeah,
Well, we thank you. Oh, sorry.
I just want to say shout out to everyone that watched tonight. Shout out to everybody that's been asking for the show. Shout out to all the supporters since day one. Shout out to all the people that's been watching, all the people that's been sharing, all the people that just been supporting the movement, anyone that ever donated or shared a flyer or just, had our names in your mouth's paws that gave us that, that reach. So shout out to everyone that's just been, holding us down. Don't forget to visit our website. That's very important. That's www.therealwordministriesinc.org. That's therealwordministriesinc.org. You can go on the website. You can see all the things that we've done thus far, the pictures and whatnot. And you could also see all the videos of The Real Word from season 1, 2, and 3. And you can also donate on our website as well to the PayPal. Shout out to everybody that's following us on Instagram at therealwordtv, that's subscribing to the YouTube at therealwordtv on YouTube. That's therealwordtv on YouTube, and at therealword7 on Facebook. So thank you for everybody for watching. Thank you for your support. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for God and if it wasn't for you guys supporting. So with that, close us out with a prayer.
Father God, we pray that you may continue to order our steps, continue to strengthen us in your presence. We thank you for all those who are viewing. In your precious Yeshua name we do pray. Amen.
Until next time, may the good Lord, may the Most High bless you and make you all a blessing for His glory.
And peace out.
Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Good night.
God bless. Good night.